It's Sunday, it's 4 p.m. You're on KBC Channel 1, you're watching Dada's Karibu Sana. Today we want to talk about a topic that is on everybody's lips, the boy child. We make jokes about it, we laugh about it. We say, oh, you know, the boy child is suffering, the boy child is this, the boy child is that. Today we actually want to unpack what happened to the boy child. How did we get here? Where did the rain begin beating us? So George Otieno is here with us. George is your typical Nairobi boy child. Karibu sana.
Asante.
And you are going to tell us a little bit about how we got here.
Yes.
By telling us your story. So George, where were you born?
I was born in Pumwani, but at that time my mom and my father, after that, where we lived is Korokocho slums.
Yes.
And of course Korokocho we know is in Eastlands.
Okay.
Surrounding is Kariobangi, Babadogo,
Okay.
and Dandora dam site.
Okay.
Where we were was very close to the dam site.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were your experiences growing up? You told me you came from quite a normal family.
Yes.
You had a mom, you had a dad, but there were some dynamics. What were the
Yes.
dynamics of your family?
The dynamics were, of course, my dad, he never had a lot of time because he was an alcoholic. And my mom was a tailor, so it forced my mom to spend most of the time, at least, looking out for the family and
Okay.
making the family run.
Okay.
So growing up in a family of 10, and
You were 10 of you.
we were 10.
How many boys, how many girls?
Seven boys and 3 girls.
Okay.
Yes.
7 boys, 3 girls.
Yes.
And your mom is basically the sole
The
breadwinner.
sole breadwinner.
Because your father is on and off.
Yes.
Would you say that that dynamic of having a father who was not there affected you?
It really affected me because, again, as a male figure, after now I grow, as a father right now, is now the reflections comes to me, even on how to handle my boys, because I have 2 boys and 1 girl. That miss, whereby I missed my father, made me to learn it the hard way, because again, now I had to realize myself, and the dam site being closer, most of the time we could even say that we are going to school and we are going to the dam sites. Because of that, we missed that male figure in our lives. So when we were in the dam site, we learned it from the big boys. You know, you are in the streets and you have to survive. At some point, we could even go away for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and we are not coming home. And when we come, there is nobody who is asking. Dad is, he is not concerned. Mom, of course, is busy. So the only person who would mind us a little bit was our elder brother, who is no more. He passed. But again, he could come maybe twice a week. So during this period, we were free to do everything that we wanted. And that really affected my self-esteem and almost introduced me to violence and crime and all this. I remember at some point with my brother, we could take cigarettes. We were young, primary. We are trying cigarettes, and the moment you are trying those things, your father is just an alcoholic and is not smoking. But again, you are trying these drugs, so that introduced us to drug addiction. And I took drug. I used marijuana. I used glue. It was that was the life. It was so hostile.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I want us to go back. You've really painted a picture of what happened, but there were other 3 girls.
Yes.
The reason I want to go back to the girls is, did the girls also grow up in a hostile environment like you? Would you say they enjoyed the same hostile environment?
Okay, when we speak of the girls, I have my elder sisters, and then we are low. So what I realize is that the sisters, until today, one of us is well off, and maybe it's because she was given that attention and time, but with us we had to
By the time you
out.
became 10 of you, your
Yes.
mother was overwhelmed.
Yes.
She just decided, liwe liwalo.
Yes.
So you notice that because your sister was given a bit more attention because she was among the top, how many? The top?
The top, in fact, the firstborn.
She was the firstborn.
Yes.
Something different happened to her. But
Yes.
you had also shared that it seemed the girls were treated with a little more care.
Yeah, if I mention that, I reflect and I see, as boys, we were in one school, and the school where we went to, there was it was in Dandora. For you to go, you have to cross through a bridge, and at some point there was a shortcut, and this shortcut is is a pipe, the water pipes. And you know, at times it rains. And I remember my brother, who is now our eldest, could hold us, and we are young, and I could reflect the fears that we went through every day in the evening. At some point, you remember about that evening. It even makes you not to go to school when it rains, because you fear crossing by the rivers. So you end up to the dump site, and what you do is you remove your uniforms, the packed meals that you're given, you just put them in a bush, and now you just scavenge to make sure in the evening you're coming back, you're putting them, and you're coming home. And I remember one day my mom identified that I am back with my lunchbox, and that is why a little bit of concern, but again, it was not a bother, because the trend continues.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also said that it seemed the girls, besides being taken to a better school than you, as you grew older, when you went to secondary, they were visited. Could it also be because your mom was present, and maybe she identified more with the girls than with you?
Okay, I can say that. Yes, the girls, I know of one of my sisters, the school where she went to, and the other one, it was closer to home, and again, there were not those dangers as compared to where we were. So I grew knowing that girls are special, and they have a special space in the community. So that made me also grow, seeing girls as our opposite, and like they have their place. And as we were growing up in groups, we could not relate well with girls. We were very hostile to them.
You were hostile to them, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
You shared that you didn't like them.
Yes.
Because you felt they were enjoying some few privileges that you were not enjoying.
Yes.
And they were better taken care of than you.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask, what opinions were formed in your mind about girls by the boys? Because you didn't have a father to tell you this is how girls are or whatever, to form an opinion. What opinions were formed in your mind about women?
Okay, because I missed it in the family to see my dad and mom interacting. When now we were outside and we are in the slums, girls, mostly when we were growing up, there was a church. And in the church also, it was a Catholic church. So the moment we went into that place, there were separations whereby girls are girls and boys are girls. Boys are boys.
Yes,
so,
Catholics tend to have that.
Yeah.
Just to make things easier for people to...
Yes.
Yeah, they separate the boys and the girls.
And the girls.
Yeah.
And I believe it's because of the way we were. The boys were hostile because of the environment and the surrounding. So there was no time where we could meet a lot with girls. Even when we are now going to the dump site in Dandora to scavenge, there is no time that the moment we see a girl, our role was to chase them away from us, because we see them, they are special than us.
So when you see a girl, you chase them away?
Yeah, we could chase them away.
When did you first date a girl? How did that happen? Because from what I can hear, you didn't quite like women.
Yes.
How did you even come to date them?
In fact, now the friends I had, most of them, they used the girls.
Yes.
There is no dating.
Yeah.
You just spot a girl, you misuse the girl, and you chase her away. There was no any relationship that you can say can last even for a week or per se. So
basically, your opinion of women is that they are objects to be used.
Yes.
Or almost to be abused. Yes. Because you don't like them.
And this is brought by the nature of now how we came up, and I believe that when we grew now is when I realized that is not really the issue. If the boy is given an opportunity at an early stage, and he sees and he relates and he understands, now even in marriage it won't be a problem, because it affected me even in marriage when I started with my she was my girlfriend, the first girlfriend who became my wife, who is my wife today.
That is very nice. At least you didn't get into too much trouble when it came to the girls.
No.
At least you were able to find one girl and settle with her. But how did it affect you?
It started, it was not easy, because again, I didn't have any person to look into, and even in trainings and seeing anything good from the girl. You knew from the past whereby you knew that girls are your enemies and girls have their space. Even in the home, girls were girls and boys were boys. At some point, I remember in the home, we could come and we were taught the hard way, and even sometimes we have to cook, and when there is food, you go look for it to come and make sure it is there. My wife changed me, and I changed her, because when we started, it was very bad, because I was just a person who could not, I didn't know how to, when we speak of romance, when we speak of
intimacy,
intimacy,
you don't understand what that means.
That timing, that like as a wife, you need to take her out. You need to, they were not.
I'm even shocked, because from what I can hear, Dandora Adam said, how did you even convince a girl to marry you? How? You must have conned her. What did you tell her?
It was.
Or you had some skills by that time?
We didn't have any skills. I think it was just divine, because even the Lord saw this guy, he may end up being single in his lifetime. And just in a church, a friend comes and he tells me there is a function in Kibera, and I'm like, okay, I can relate with Kibera. If I was told Lavington or these at the upper ends, I could not go because we feared. So I went there, and I'm seeing this girl passing by, and I'm like, I need to try something. And that is why, we were the hardship, and now we became hard. Yeah, we became hard, and there was no respect of person, there was no any fear, and I could just go there. And at some point, it's now that I reflect that I was doing the wrong things, even going to their house, and I knew that I could not be asked any question with the parents, because now I'm coming from a place where if you mess me, we can sort it out.
You told us before that you had taken drugs.
Yes.
That at some point in your life, you dabbled with the drugs.
Yes.
A bit of drugs.
Yes.
Especially because you were in a gang. And, I imagine you were looking for acceptance, love.
Yes.
So some big boys must have proposed you take some bangi, and you tried a bit of that. How did that affect the way you lived or how you grew up?
It affected, first of all, it's affecting you emotionally. It affects your education. It gives you a lot of freedom at a younger age, whereby you just become free. And now it makes you, your values, there is nothing you value.
Okay.
Seeing another day becomes the reason for you to survive. You become a survivor. And you fear no death, you fear no nothing. You just take drugs, and at some point you end up running away from home. You're sleeping in kiosks. You're just there in the slums. And I remember there were areas where at some point we could go and wait for men, and we could steal from them, and that was the lifestyle. And it really affected it affected me as I was growing up, and that is where the thirst, when I was coming up, I could see some of the friends you're playing with them, you're with them today, but tomorrow you see one of them is burned down, one of them is shot, and those things are disturbing you. And you're like, where can you run from? The only place you know is Korokocho. The only place you know is Dandora. If like you're now the next victim. I remember when I was leaving school and we were doing exams, there's a friend of mine who, as we were going home, and because we were used to remove our uniforms, he was arrested, and he did his examination being brought by the Land Rover. That was the lifestyle. It was just about either you become a criminal and you never cared about anything. So it affected, and that's where we never valued humanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that this thing of telling the boys when they are young, jikaze kisabuni, I don't want to hear, we don't care, go be a man, how do you think it affects men? Because I think we tell our boys all the time, you are the man, we don't care about you. If a girl child comes, they come with a problem, we are ready to listen. A boy, we tell them, you go and sort it out.
When we are shutting them, we are putting them in a situation whereby they are not open, and they stay with things in them. So the moment those things pile up, once they explode with a very big bang that brings a lot of effect even in the family. And it's happening it starts at the lower stage, but again it comes back when even you are an adult. It becomes something that now you cannot control it at an adult stage. I've seen most of the parents complaining at an early stage about their boys. But the problem started when they were young, because they were trained in a way whereby you have to, the girl is, even if the girl does something, you are the one who need to take care. You are the head. You have to be hard. You have to survive. So that survival way, the way we see it, becomes a problem, and it affects the child. And that one makes me, even today, when anytime I reflect back and I see these young people, even in the slums and in the streets, because I've been one of them. I have programs that we are going to meet them. I just feel the pain. It gives me that reflection, and I talked to them yesterday. Just yesterday, there was a lady who was passing, and that lady had a girl. They are like twins. He's holding the girl very well, and then the boy he's struggling to walk out the boy, and behind me he's telling the boy, "Tembea raka," and then he's pinching the boy and he's bringing the boy, and I told her, "No, what you're doing is wrong. I can take you to the police." And she's like, sio shida yako. And I said, ni shida yangu, because ni kijana. And that boy really, after I said that I can take you to police, that is when I saw him taking the boy, and now they were walking very fast. But again, with no care, the boy could now. That is the hard way we are talking about.
You have brought me to exactly where I wanted us to end up. Do you feel that boys are uncared for, generally? That generally, it doesn't matter. It's not about demographics. It's not about money. It's about the fact that boys from a young age are generally uncared for, especially emotionally.
Yes.
It is assumed that boys, I don't know who gave us the impression that boys don't have feelings, that men are feelingless. So the boy is beaten up, uncared for, unkempt. If you see a lady going to church with the girl has got a freely dressed, stockings, nice shoes. The boy is just wearing some old patched jeans, and nobody seems to care about the boy.
He's from the place where clothes are piled, he sorts himself. Yeah. And the girl need to be the flower.
Yes, the girl is a flower, and the boy is just is just there to.
So whether he follows, he doesn't follow, is up to him. That one is real. The boy's position in the society is misplaced. That's what I can say. They are silenced at an early stage. That silence is what they grow with. And now it comes back to family lifestyle, whereby now, even in houses, the domestic violences that we see and all these problems that we are seeing, those things cannot be solved at that stage. They need to be taken care of at the early stage. If we give the boy a voice, and this boy can express himself, the boy can be heard. Boys are not heard. When a boy tries to bring out an issue, he's silenced in every place, not only in the home, in churches, in institutions. Any institution, when a boy tries to speak, he stopped. And this is brought maybe because of, again, superiority power, whereby unless there is a boy or a boss or anything, but I believe that a boy need to be given a hearing. They have a lot in them, and most of them, again, if even they die with a lot of secrets that they cannot express. And maybe these things are things that can even help families and heal the society.
I've also been told by men, this is my own research, that when men sit together, they talk about politics, they talk about sports. But if you go there with a real problem, I'll give you an example.
Yes.
There was a man who was struggling with his family. His family life was not going well. And so he went to the boys. He tried to say something. They all kept quiet, and then they said, "Nani aliona max ya jana? No help." It seems that men are not taught any skills of conversation or how to help each other. What would you say to that?
And again, it's come back to an early stage. The boy is left alone, and there is no voice whereby, and when he's growing up, that element of trust, who to speak to. If it is not happening in the family, I cannot trust my mom with my issues, I cannot give my dad my issues, my siblings my issues, they will just brush me off. When now I'm married, even in the family setup, it comes to me that is their lifestyle. So it's either two-way. I will train my kids in the same way, or I will try to change the way my kids are being brought up. So if I take it's now where you decide which direction to take. It's either you will train them, and when you train them in that another angle, expect your copy. But if you train them in the way whereby you want to change the setup and how you grew up, then your boys will be changed when they grow up. They will have the voice. They will be heard. They will be able to express themselves. Unless they express themselves, then there is no solution.
Yeah, and also in terms of confidence, men today seem to be a little not very confident. They seem to be having confidence issues.
Yes.
they seem to be a bit scared of expressing anything. I think for me, where they lack the most confidence is in making decisions. I mean, that is why wives will say, huyu hata hakuna kitu anafanyanga, huyu hata hakuna kitu anasemaga. Because I think when men are confronted with problems, the first thing they do, they retreat.
Yes.
Then they keep quiet. Then the women are left to wonder what is there to be done.
Yes.
So what normally happens, the women pick up the ball and they run with it.
Yes.
And they ignore the men.
Yes.
Then the men get angry with them. What would you say about that?
The silence is brought because now once the issues I've carried a lot in me and there is no place I want to express them. When now it reaches a point where I want to explode it, as I said earlier, I explode it with a bang. So I keep silent. There is nobody I can share with. Most of them, they say that they're going to see football, but at break time, when there is half time, they will like identify one person. I remember a scenario whereby a friend told me, you could see he was very happy and cheering up. And after a football match, he's like, that's now the reality checks. I'm going back to the house, and I believe he just decided, no, I'm not going to the house. And he asked me, can we go with you? And I'm like, you're married. No, I'm not going to the house because we have issues. And the issues are like, after now him opening up, he's saying that there is just domestic issues, and he's saying that he doesn't want to go and be violent in the house because he's very sure that the moment he goes to the house, that house will not be accommodative for either him or the wife.
Why do you think men are not also doing well at work? We hear that a lot. We hear complaints that men are not doing well at work. Women seem to be able to come to work. They may not rise to the board level, but they will get to management. They will be able to manage a team. But men seem to lack the capacity to hold a job, to do well at work. What is the problem?
Two things, love and trust. Men don't feel loved. They are taken as they're the one who are supposed to give the love, and they are not getting the love back. In terms of even when we speak of gifts, appreciation, the society has taught us that it is the girl who need to be appreciated. So the man doesn't get that. When we speak of...
men want to be appreciated? Okay, even me, I'm surprised.
In terms of when you have a lady, just a gift, a pen can make the difference.
Yeah.
A surprise of a T-shirt can make a difference. Yeah. I'm working, you're working.
You're right. Even I'm surprised.
Yes,
I would never even think of appreciating a man. I'm quite unkind. You are very right. I think you are very right in the sense that we seem to think that men should survive on air.
Yes.
Like no love, no trust, no appreciation. So that causes them to shrink back and not to do anything. Well, what's the problem? Because
now we are living in a society whereby we are saying that what men can do, ladies can do better. And that is the push. And you'll realize that now the ladies are, the moment now they have places where they're given opportunities, and even at employment, it's easy for them to access nowadays. Unlike the boys, you'll realize that boys can come like in an interview and ladies will get favors. And the moment that is happening, they are now able even to sustain their families in the same manner. So you'll realize that in that capacity, a man's salary may be less, but he's still the one.
Yes, a man's salary is less, but he must pay all the bills.
Yes, he must.
All the bills in that house,
yes.
And the lady just uses her money to make her hair.
And then now realize it is 15th. The guy is broke, but he cannot say in the house he's broke because it will not be acceptable. And even if the lady has some savings, the man's penny will still be saved to take care of the lady's bills. Are you getting it? So that makes the man to be in stress. And it comes back to the question you asked. Men doesn't perform because they have a lot of stress. The house is not accommodative. The place of work is not accommodative. The only place they can go is that now they look for people who they end up now getting to the clubs and bars to remove the stress, which again is not the best way to remove the stress.
George will come back. We'll come back to you.
Yes.
We have to go into a break. We talk about the boy child. You've heard the boy child is a person just like you. They need to be loved. They need to be appreciated. They need trust. But I think more importantly, men need respect. So we'll be right back. Don't go too far. Welcome back to the second half of Dada's Karibuni Sana. Today we're talking about the boy child, a topic that we laugh about and we make fun of it. But Georgia has just unpacked what it means to be a boy child in Nairobi, Kenya, and the challenges that a boy child goes through. We want to welcome onto the show Lily. Lily is a counseling psychologist.
Thank you.
Lily, karibu sana. I know you are passionate about the boy child.
So much.
And I'm surprised because you are a girl child.
Yeah.
Why are you passionate about the boy child and you are a girl child?
Because I saw what they went through.
What
even
did
my
you
brother.
see?
The challenges,
Okay.
the marginalization, all that.
Hey, Lily, you are using big words. What do you mean by marginalization?
The equity in resources, even in the house, even in food. The girl child, mbele.
Okay, so you are telling us that in a normal home, girls will be given more food than boys.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly.
Okay, I know, for example, that the girls are, for example, better taken care of. People are more aware about the time the girl child will go, about the time the girl child will come home. They are also more aware about, perhaps because mothers are at home, what the girl child will wear, who the friends of the girl child is. However, for the boy child, we assume watoke waende huko nje kama wamevaa vinyasa and torn shoes, and they do whatever it is they do, then they come back in the evening. What is your take on that?
That is where the rain started beating us. It's so unfair. Remember, we are parents are the first caregivers of the children. So whatever happens at that stage, the repercussion is at the adult stage. So even me as a person, when I was growing up, we were many. He talked about being 10, as you were 22.
Wacha wewe. With
I had
two
a
ma-
stepmother. Yeah. So my mother had 10, my stepmother had 10. But the way my father could relate, girls could go to school, their school fees is paid in full. For the boys, they can come back home. And their shopping, there's a big difference.
Of course.
Mwanaume jikaze.
Yes.
Kaa ngumu kama mwanajeshi.
Yes, I
And
know.
I used to feel so unfair for them because my brother could come behind me and say, nikatie sabuni kidogo, you know. So I used to feel, what is happening? Are we so special? And you know, that thing was inside us. It also affected me. Because I knew as you grow up as a girl, it's the boy who's supposed to take care of you.
Isn't it a paradox, though, that the boy takes care of you, and yet he was so poorly taken care of? Could it be that the reason why men take such bad care of us women, especially in Africa, because they were so poorly taken care of, really? Because I know, for example, one of the things that women want from men is love. This, we have given them such little love that what do we expect of them, surely?
I keep on saying it's so unfair. You want love and you cannot give back that love. Women normally keep on talking about, my man is not providing, he's not able. And remember, parents are not empowering. The caregivers are the main problem of this thing. So this boy has, you know, there's this thing called rewinding of the cassette. When you come and you want to be given, the cassette rewinds and how he was brought up, he was not being given. Who are you to be given? You want me to give you and I was not given? Hello? That is where the rain started beating us. And then they become violent. And basically men don't talk. And what people don't know, silence means a lot. It can be stress. It can be that cassette is being rewinded, what they went through, how they grew up. And then here is a lady. And the reflection of the sister comes, who was being given, wants to take my sweat, just to give him like this. It becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George, I wanted to ask you about the fact that a lot of men do not communicate.
Yes.
They have a problem with communication. They're not able to communicate.
Yes.
How can women help? Because I think many women will they're sitting at home watching and say, how can I help him? The man does not say anything. Anaka too, they just sit there. We don't know what they are thinking. We don't know what they want. We just see the man is angry. And you know, some of them, you can literally see the man is becoming angry and angry and angry. But how do we help you?
First of all, it's just that respect. Respect him. Put the environment safer. Like when he's coming from work, know that he's coming from work. Just the way, put yourself in the shoes, like now humanity. You don't expect what, like, to get what you're not giving. So, first of all, just the way you bring, the way you communicate also matters. The way you're bringing him to you, so that now he can start that self-confidence and even share and speak. And again, when he's speaking, listen, because you realize that he's starting to just start a topic and you're putting him off. The moment you put him off, he will sit with it. He will stay back and watch. But the moment you open up that room whereby now you want to hear him, he will express it to you. Just respect him and give him that. In fact, apply when you are courting. If you apply the magic that you used when you people are coming together in the rest of your living, it will just work. But I understand that ladies, again, they have many areas where they are meeting. We are talking of salons, we are talking of, and they want to relate. You want to bring things that are happening in the other family to their house. And this is something that I always tell my wife, that she will come, at some point she's coming with, maybe she hears stories when she's in salon, or where, you know, ladies, they're very open. Yeah,
they tell each other stories in the chama.
Yeah, even in chamas, they have many places they meet. And in fact, they have even empowerment bodies, which just are there to empower women, but there are no where men can go and get empowerment. So this man is passing through a lot. He's coming home knowing that he's looking after a family, and the wife even is part of that family. So the role of the wife is to, first of all, know the weaknesses of a man. Try as much as possible not to trigger the catalyst so that he may explode. Just when he's speaking, listen. When he's high, you can even give a break, go to the room or go somewhere and just have your, and again, don't carry again issues. You know, there are those issues whereby like they were from the morning, and you left, you're coming back in the evening with the same issues. These issues will continue even tomorrow and the rest, and they are even affecting the children that you're having.
Lily, what do you say? We want to bring the women empowerment to the house. First of all, I want to go back. Has the girl child been over-empowered so that now she cannot even find a husband?
Yeah, I believe it's true, because you empower the girl so much, it becomes like a revenge. The boy was a boy. You know, those days when you had a family and there was no boy child in that home, a woman could be told, that one has not given birth. Those days went. Nowadays, you even hear people saying, when you educate one girl in a village, it is for the whole community. People will benefit out of it. And let me tell you, for real, even in life now, I would tell you, when I am seated somewhere in a market, a mother of boys and a mother of girls. The way she's walking, the way she's dressed. Because of, you didn't empower this boy child. And the same girl you're empowering, you want this girl child to be married to a man who is not being empowered somewhere else. The girl child has been given too much empowerment. Remember session paper number 1, that one, Constitution of 2005, equity. Give these children equal chance. Don't show a boy and a girl that there's a difference. No, this is why even the revenge, anger, emotions, they come out at a later stage. And that is why you see these men, they keep to themselves so much, but when it explodes, it's either death or something else. Or they become alcoholics. So basically, people don't look at the underlying issues. They just name you, this guy is a drunkard, my husband is useless, he drinks. You don't know the underlying issues that is making this man go to this. He cannot speak. Nobody can give him a listening ear. Anaongea nini. You know, a man should kaa ngumu kama mwanajeshi. And that is what our parents used to say. And they grow up with it, and it's a cassette that replays when somebody's a grown-up. When your wife tells you you are supposed to take care of everything, remember, even right now as you speak, if you're having a husband, you're working in the same office, earning the same salary, you expect this man to do so much for you. Remember, you're earning the same salary, but you don't want to share yours. Yeye ni mwanaume. That mentality, the cultural aspect of it, has really gotten into us, and it's affecting the boy child. When you go any organization, the girl child, the pads, they're talking about the menstrual periods, everything. Don't you know these boys go under puberty? They go on the voice breaking and everything. They need somebody to listen to them, somebody to take them through. It's a process of life, just like the way the girls go through. Yeah.
I think also the other thing that we haven't really been taught as women is about what, I went somewhere for a seminar, and let me share, and they were saying that men don't communicate like women. Men communicate side to side, yeah? They communicate when they are doing something. So they are driving a car. So if you want to communicate with your husband when you are driving a car, when you are driving or you are seated somewhere, you communicate side to side when you are doing an activity, and you don't confront. Men are not, they don't like confrontation. So the minute a woman stands here, and the man is here and you're confronting, he does not hear anything. He just hears zzz. Yeah? Also, that men don't actually need love from women, they need respect from women. What would you say to those conversations, George? Because I think those are things that women don't know. Even I was surprised to hear that. They said, if you want your husband to listen to you, first of all, don't shout. Men don't hear shouting. In fact, the minute you raise your voice, he can't hear anything. Number two, don't confront him. The minute you stand like this, he stands like this, the man does not hear anything. He just thinks you want to fight. And you see, to a man, if you want me to fight you, I can fight you. We can have a fight. I mean, George came from Dandora. So if you want me to fight, you are standing here for me to fight you, I'm going to give you a good fight. George, what are some of the things that women don't know about men?
First of all, you know, when we are meeting, most of the meeting points, maybe now we are working, so we are meeting at a high-end angle of living.
At Java, all the time. We are at Java.
Yeah. Good example. But you don't know the background of this person. You don't know, you know, there are those people who just a small thing will make them explode. This man, you know, most of the ladies, and I think majority, they go with feelings. There are those men, like my example, we grew up not knowing anything to do with feelings. Your feelings are not part of my, I don't know about it, and you've met me, and we are now grown-ups. Maybe you found me working, or I'm in a house, and maybe you came, you loved the house, and you think this is not me. There is the past me that you don't know. So even before you get into that, try to know the background of this man, so that now when you're coming to the real life, because now this is, in fact, in weddings, people say until death do us part. It may be longer than the time that you people were young. Maybe you are 21, 25. The rest of the years, until God gives you even 100 years, you will be with this person. So do some, understand him in courtship, understand him, understand his family, understand his past. If he was a criminal and he's telling you he has changed, don't try to bring issues again of crime in him. You are reminding him that I can even kill. I can even come and rob you. Are you getting it? So those things, once you're with them, the lady now with her feelings will always bring that picture back. If somebody, before you get into that relationship and marriage, just accept that person the way he is, and even the man accept the lady, so that now when you start, you're starting in a new page, you're opening a new page, and you don't bring the past. Your feelings are your feelings. If those feelings are things that are making you not to respect me, then that expect a divorce, or expect the rampant thing that is going globally,
which
of
is killing
stabbing
you,
and killing, mostly
beating
in
you up.
universities, these things are happening. And the ones we see in the media is just but a few of the things that are happening. Media is not everywhere. So each and every hour, something is happening somewhere. And it is best with the boy child, the way he is being treated and taken. This man, if you, the heart of a man is different. And as a man, I can say that. Despite the fact of the past, sometimes I will see, I really trigger and see how my wife will come. At some point, maybe there was a lot of, we could explode in issues, but the way he will come will direct, you know, this person is like the owner of the house, and I can say that women are always the ones who, you know, men will come and they will just sit. With the kids, they are very easy. So if this lady will reflect into that, and now he comes with that angle of respect, as you've said, this is my man. This is let me leave the kids aside, and I take him as my man who I've accepted to live with. Let me show him respect even before the kids and before everyone. You know, the moment you embarrass me before my son, expect something different, because of the past, there are things that you don't know, and your feelings are making these young boys. I'm trying so much to avoid them from becoming what I would be. If I didn't marry you, I would be a criminal, or I would have been killed somewhere a long time ago. But God has given me this grace, and now I have a family, and you're part of my family. Just show that, just a small of it as a start. The rest will just come. You just, it's a sacrificial part of it. You just sacrifice, even if it's difficult for you to do it. Just force yourself and see the magic.
Really, my question would be, how can we bring up our boys differently? because we must. I think the current formula is not working. Something is not right.
You know, when you say differently, I really wonder, because there's no differently. There's equity. The way you raise up a girl child, you raise the boy child. Give them equal opportunity.
Yeah, but you know, our minds are a bit foggy right now.
That's why I say parenting, caregiving at that early stage. I think at some point we should talk about marital counseling. Before you get to marriage, get to know this person very well. You know, when people meet you so much in love, maybe it's about the girl's shape that is making you crazy, about the girl's teeth, you know, maybe you have a gap like me, like this, stunning you crazy. You don't know where I'm coming from with this gap, you know? So it's about the caregiving, the parenting issues, parenting styles. Is the repercussion, the caregiver. Do you know your first mentor, your first teacher, your first life person is your parent? You know? Even a husband and a wife is secondary. These are things that come later. But me, I keep on crying about parenting. This is where the rain started beating us, even the culture. And these are things you're supposed to come out of them. You know, that when you give birth to a girl, it's like you've saved the whole community. You empower the girl, you take them in front, the girl. You know, there's a time I did a feasibility study, according to how I grew up. I just sat in a church, leave alone anywhere else, the gate of a church, and I was looking at parents coming in even with cars, others on foot. You look at the boy child, you say, wow, wow. They've started to come. A boy is, the girl is one who is elder, maybe they are left 2 years apart. The mother or the father is holding the girl is in the middle, the father and the mother is holding the girl. The boy is the other side, even the trouser doesn't have a belt. The boy is running and holding. I was like, what? Then he's being told you can take care of yourself. And then he's looking at the sister. The father and the mother is holding the hand of the daughter. What do you think is going through the mind of this child? Do you know there's something we plant in these children and you don't know? These are the things that we plant that come out at that early stage. When your wife wants to hold your hand, that kind of thing reflects back. And holding your hand means you are the one who's supposed to take care of me, not anybody else. And we are earning, both of us. But my money, have you ever realized the man's money is so sweet?
Sure.
I think because it's free.
Who said it is free?
I mean,
they are not lesser human beings. They're just like us, and they earn the same currency. Theirs is not fake or having gold on top of it. It is just the same. And remember I told you I grew up in a polygamous home. But what I saw with my father, I said, I'll never, ever. Basically, as you see me, I'm not a mother of any boy child. I have daughters. And I keep on telling them, if I empower them, who are they going to bring to me in the house? A boy who is sulking, a boy cannot even present himself, he cannot even say his name, because the self-esteem was taken down when he was young. He's not even supposed to talk in front of people. You know, and I used to see my brothers, even when my parents are going maybe for a safari, the boy child is being told, you are going to take care of these girls. There's no going outside the gate, there's no doing that. And anything happens, it's news done, broken the glass and everything. They're the ones who are going to be thoroughly beaten. You should be a man in the house. And you know, they're growing up with that thing. Nobody listens to them. That is why you are seeing they go to the bars. They can share. Somebody can listen to them. Or maybe a barmaid somewhere, atamsikiza atamwambia, nikupatie nini baba? Something that the wife cannot tell. Even the sister cannot tell. So men normally look for a soft landing. What they need is care, a listening ear, and understanding. Because if there's anybody that you can listen to is a man. Men can listen. They can understand. They have feelings. They have emotions. But we don't take, and we overlook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you bringing up your boys differently? You have 2 boys.
Yes.
Do you have a girl?
I have a girl.
You have a girl and
my
2.
last born.
Two, you've already last born.
Yes, she is.
You are doing very poorly. From a family of 10, now you have already become you have last born at only 3.
Last in the 3.
Last in the 3.
Boys and 1
I
girl
know.
who is young.
Umefunga?
We have to agree.
Yeah,
But
okay.
at the moment, we have that as
So how are you bringing up your boys differently?
I'm really trying, and as I said, it's a sacrifice to bring the difference. This is a battle cry for a generation, and that is what drives me, that there is always a starting point. And for us to be able to change the boy child's position in the society, in family level, as Lilia said, there must be a start, and it starts in the family. It is out of the family that the society becomes. So I'm trying as much as possible to, when the young daughter does something to my second-born boy, I have to be very strict with him, and I sit her and I tell her, say sorry, you have done wrong. Say sorry, you have done wrong. If, like, you know, she's so manipulative, and like everything in the house belongs to her. I'll tell her, no, allow your brother to play with it. He also has equal rights into it. I'm putting positions into everyone to identify everyone's role, because as they are growing up, the big boy and the middle boy they have their positions in the family. And it's upon now the parent to love them. When you're coming with something, yes, you're coming home in the evening, you'll realize that I'm trying as much as possible. Instead of buying the young girl something that is very expensive, I take the little that it is there. You don't do the difference when you have much. With the little you have, you can do the difference at a small level that it is possible. You know, once you get something that can be for everyone according to their stage, the boy is now a teenager, you just mingle with them. Again, you don't bring to a teenager something that is of a child. You bring something that you have identified them, and also that listening. I listened to them. I missed that father to son relationship. So that became a fear to me, that if I do it to them, then I will also have a difference, and I'm not helping the society. So I'm trying as much as possible. When it is visitation, I have to make sure I leave all my plans. My family becomes my priority, whereby anything else can wait. I go, I finish that, and then I come and handle the other things. That time with them matters a lot. And you realize that parents are so busy that they don't have time with their children. Have time. Give the young girl her time. Don't give that the one person a lot of time. I've seen even families whereby they just see the firstborn, because you are raised that firstborn are the ones who are to support the rest. So they'll give a lot of emphasis to the firstborn. Just balance them. If you have 4, balance the 4. They are all yours. Yeah.
Lily, as we close, there is such a big gap when it comes to fathering. And I know you are talking about the caregiver, but there is something a father gives to a son, which is what George is talking about. There is something a father, only a father, can give to a son. And that is what George did not get, because his father was basically absent. And the mother could have passed on what she could to the girl. But there is something a woman can never give a man. And if you don't have fathers, we are in trouble with the boy child. What would you like to say?
Basically, what I'd say is the presence. We need present fathers. I remember even me as a person, my father was that person who could go to safaris. But that presence, even the atmosphere in the house, that respect, even your mother could tell you that I will report you to your father when he comes back. There was that fear and change. So basically that presence around the house and talking, listening is also very important. As you heard George saying, he lacked that presence. So he was scared. You see that scary part of it, that will I do the same? Will I give back to my children? Will I be present? You heard him say that I leave everything aside to be there for my children. But the father was not. That presence. So when you bring up a boy child, give them the attention, the listening ear, the equity, things are going to be very well. And me, I'll still go back to parenting and the caregiver. Because there's some training in life that will reflect on you. If you did not, the development stages, if there was no proper toilet training, there was no proper, everything in life, it affects your self-esteem, self-aware, even ideal. I can give an example. When I was growing up, I was such a thin girl, and it affected me when I was growing up, because my siblings, my mother used to tell me, to call me names about my body. And I remember when I got married, I remember it was on a funeral, the first time I went to the home of my husband, and a sister-in-law behind the kitchen, you remember, you know the way kitchens are at home, far from the house. I remember saying, when our brother, the way girls in Nairobi are so fat and hippies, this one, even if you put in a drum of oil, she'll never grow fat. That thing really affected my self-esteem. Because anything you plant in a child, it grows. So watch what comes from your mouth, be there for them, listen to them, and give them the necessary proper giving. It doesn't mean that when you give them sausage and eggs, that is a proper upgiving. That love, care, presence, communication is key.
Thank you very much. George, thank you very much. Lily? We have assumptions about men as women. We assume that they don't need much. Actually, women say men don't need much. They are simple creatures. But perhaps we've been wrong for a long time. And our society is now telling us that we need to change. We actually need to take time to discover who men are. Because as women, let's be truthful, we need men. They are our brothers, they are our husbands, they are our uncles, they are our fathers. And if we don't get it right with them, we cannot have family. So until next week, when you go around, be nice to a man, be respectful. Baraka.